Throughout history, California has experienced many droughts, such as 1841, 1864, 1924, 1928, 1935, 1947, 1950, 1959, 1960, 1976, 1977, 1986, 1992, 2006, 2010, 2011, 2017, 2018, and 2020-2021. Precipitation in California is limited to a single, fairly short wet season, with the vast majority of rain and snowfall occurring in the winter months across the state. This delicate balance means that a dry, rainy season can have lasting consequences. California is the most populous state and largest agricultural producer in the United States, and as such, drought in California can have a severe economic as well as environmental impact. The historical and ongoing droughts in California are caused by lack of rainfall or snowfall, higher average temperatures, and drier air masses in the atmosphere. This leads to reduced residential, commercial, and industrial water security and less water availability in the natural environment and in snowpack, rivers, and reservoirs for human use. These water shortages can have major impacts on agriculture and other water-intensive land uses. Furthermore, global La Nina meteorological events are generally associated with drier and hotter conditions, and further exacerbation of droughts in California and the southwestern, and to some extent southeastern United States. Meteorological scientists have observed that La Ninas have become more frequent over time. Increasingly dramatic fluctuations in California weather have been observed in the 21st century. In 2015, California experienced its lowest snowpack in at least 500 years. The 2012-15 period was the driest in at least 1,200 years. However, the winter of 2016-17 was the wettest ever recorded in Northern California, surpassing the previous record set in 1982-83. In February 2017, Shasta, Oroville, and Folsom lakes were simultaneously dumping water into the ocean for flood control. Lake Oroville flowed over the emergency spillway for the first time in 48 years after the main spillway was damaged, resulting in the temporary evacuation of 200,000 people. The combined inflow to Shasta, Oroville, and Folsom lakes on February 9 was 764,445 acre-feet, 0.942929 km3. 2 days later, the combined flood control release was 370,260 acre-feet, 0.45671 km3. This water would have been worth many millions of California trees died from the drought, approximately 102 million, including 62 million in 2016 alone. 27. By the end of 2016, 30% of California had emerged from the drought, mainly in the northern half of the state, while 40% of the state remained in the extreme or exceptional drought levels. Heavy rains in January 2017 were expected to have a significant benefit to the state's northern water reserves, despite widespread power outages and erosional damage in the wake of the deluge. Among the casualties of the rain was 1,000-year-old pioneer cabin tree in Calaveras Big Tree State Park, which toppled on January 8. 20. Excessive groundwater pumping and aquifer depletion will lead to land sinking and permanent loss of groundwater storage. Decreasing groundwater levels lead to exposing of underground water storage areas. This will cause lack of soil structure strength and possible sinking if the land above is heavy enough. This has already begun in certain parts of the state during the most recent drought. In coastal communities, excessive water pumping can lead to seawater intrusion, which means seawater will begin to flow into the underground water storage areas that were vacated by excess pumping. 17,370 at Los Angeles County municipal rates. This can cause decreased water quality and lead to an expensive desalination effort to clean the water before distribution. Water flows through wildlife refuges and national parks can decrease or stop altogether due to the decrease of surface and groundwater. The California Water Science Center is a part of a team trying to restore and maintain water flow in these at-risk areas. With reduction of water flow and increased windy or dry weather, wildfire risks increase. Lightning strikes or accidental human mistake can lead to huge wildfires due to the drier than normal climate. Adaptation is the process of adjusting to circumstances, which means not trying to stop the drought, but trying to preserve the water given the drought conditions. This is the most used option, because stopping a drought is difficult, given that it is a meteorological process. Adapting to the problem using innovation and problem solving is often the cheaper and more useful way to go, because trying to change the natural processes of the earth could have unforeseen consequences. El Niño and La Niña have often been associated with wet and dry cycles in California, respectively. The 1982-83 El Niño event, one of the strongest in history, brought record precipitation to the state, but recent climate data show mixed evidence for such a relationship, due in part to the growing impact of human-induced global warming. The very wet 2010-2011 season occurred during a strong La Nina phase, while the 2014-16 El Niño event, which surpassed 1982-83 in intensity, did not bring an appreciable increase of precipitation to the water in California, can be expensive. This leads to awareness of water management challenges. In rain-rich states and countries, which are not drought-prone,